Ben, perhaps you want to add something. I mean, like when you decided to when you started with the workshop with academy, do you also have like a improvisation? Is it along the way, or we already know what we want to do with our workshop? So how does it goes?
We never really know what we want to do with our workshops, but that's actually the quite mind-opening thing. I guess one recent experience that we had was when we did workshops in West Papua. We did one in Manokwari, which is basically a seaside town in Papua. It's interesting. So because most of our workshops are carried out in Java, and once you get out of Java, you'll see and understand how knowledge inequalities are being situated in those areas. So you can definitely feel how privileged we are as, I guess, at least for me, living near Jakarta, where the center of knowledge and culture and economic capital is situated in Indonesia, and you get out of Jakarta, you'll find it a bit harder to see that in other areas. And then you go outside of Java, you'll definitely see the knowledge and cultural and also economic capitals that are present in let's say in Manokwari and West Papua. So talking about improvisation, we came, when we did a workshop in Manokwari, we came with a set of mind and tools that we contextualize in the, I guess, Jakartan urban way of teaching, including the methodology and the content of teaching was very much contextualized from a very Jakartan Javanese culture and also knowledge capital. And then when we realized that it's very different how life is basically understood outside of Java, especially if you go to, let's say, Manokwari, their experiences with, let's say, social issues such as police violence is very much different compared to, let's say, in Jakarta. I remember showing them a photo. Basically, the photo is a police officer trying to help a student. But in the context of, let's say, when I show the photo when doing a workshop in Jakarta or Bogor or in other areas of Java, like, oh yeah, that's the police officer trying to help a student because she was knocked down or something. And you take that photo to Manokwari and West Papua, oh, that's a police officer trying to beat down the student. The student is trying to get up, but the police officer is trying to beat that student down. So again, the cultural and the social experiences that brings understandings of a photograph is very much vastly different compared to, let's say, in Java. And that's why we have to improvise and also contextualize our workshops that's very much situated within those contexts. So yeah, it's actually quite hard. Again, I just want to point out the privilege that we have as those residing near Jakarta in Java is very much basically vastly different to those outside of Java.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Yeah, speaking of, you mentioned about your workshop in West Papua. We already opened the Q&A session. So Ben, there's a question from Fembri, from Papua. He asked you about the photo workshop initiated by the Academy about land created in various places, Sumatra to Papua. So can you elaborate more? How did participants respond to the workshop? And is the knowledge in the workshop a new experience for the participants? Or are there specific response from the participants? Because, the workshop was different from Sumatra to Papua. So how they respond? Is it, you may also mention about the huge gap about the education, photographic education in Java and outside Java. So that's a question from Fembri.
So can I answer directly?
Yeah, please.
Oh, okay. So I think, I think I want to respond a bit to Jessica on Angkor. I mean, it was quite a life-changing experience for me as well, because, it was it was through those workshops and also through workshops at Panya, I understood photography beyond the camera itself. Photography, like what Maria said, as a language, as an understanding, as a medium towards understanding what is going on around you. So using that idea, that's what we use as the foundation of our workshops in Sumatra and Java and West Papua and basically all of our workshops. And we wanted to have them basically think more about the social issues around them, which in this workshop with WRI was focused simply on land issues, basically like land grabbing, palm oil industry, and so on and so on. It was very hard. It was very hard because people don't. I guess this has very much related to our education system in Indonesia. It's more of like an indoctrination of ideas rather than a push towards critical thinking. So we were thinking about using photography as a medium for reflexive and critical thinking. And that's why it was quite hard for some people because we didn't just expect them to excel in aesthetic and photography wise to have them present to us some kind of photo essay that's, I guess, aesthetically appealing, but more so it has a message that they want to convey as well. And that was quite hard for them because, to have a photo story or photo essay that's critical and reflexive, it means that the photographer themselves has to be critical and reflexive towards themselves and also the issues around them. And, having, I guess, that mindset is slightly, well, not slightly, but it's immensely hard when you're not accustomed, I guess, to those ideas. And especially when you discuss about taboo issues, like say let's say for West Papua, the Free West Papua movement, how would you discuss that? Is our workshops then a safe environment for them to discuss about that? And that's where we also found that many of our participants see our workshops not just a place for learning, but also a safe place for sharing ideas that might not be necessarily accepted when you discuss about this outside the workshop. So it was quite mind-opening for us as well, but hopefully it was also mind-opening for the participants because it provided them with opportunities to at least discuss about the things that they can't necessarily discuss about in our society. So for the participants, it was, hopefully it was, again, mind-opening. I remember there's one workshop when we did in, I forgot it was Pekanbaru or Palembang, that was in Sumatra. So the participant wanted to do a story on, what's that? Rusum? What's Rusum? Oh, yeah, social housing. Social housing. And social housing in Indonesia is synonymous with like drugs, prostitution, everything bad in society is basically within a social housing. And basically, the photographer had these assumptions already within his head when he went into the field and started taking photographs. And we started asking him a different way of looking at this. Can you basically use photography as a medium to basically question your assumptions rather than to harden those assumptions? And that's what happened through the course of his construction of his photo essay, where he found actually new understandings about the social housing, that not all people there were drug lords and engaging in prostitutions. There were actually people living their ordinary lives there. So that was quite heartening for us as well, where you see what the participants of our workshops find new understandings about life and everything around them. So yeah, that was quite mind-opening for us again.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I mean, like, you also want to create the dialogue with them as well, right? So you I mean, like, let's say when they want to, I mean, the core is for the story of visual storytelling, but you also start intriguing them with asking the question why you should do it, and then change the perspective? Is it part of the dialogue and the critical mind that which is core of the academy as well? So
Yeah.
it's also another additional question from Fembi. So is it difficult for the participants in West Papua or in Sumatra when they want to share the problem? So just wondering, I mean, you mentioned about the workshops not only giving them skills or building a dialogue and then developing the critical mind, but also you want to create like a safe environment for them, right? So you can share anything like something taboo or very sensitive issues. We can share, discuss here. So is it like does it mean like to answer the question from Fremby as well? Does it mean that all the participants they're not very I mean like they don't find any difficulties to share their problems? So
oh, they find lots of difficulties to share the
okay.
problems actually at first. Again, because we discussed quite a lot of things that's, I guess, socially taboo, and initially it's hard, but I guess as a mentor, when you befriend them and then you, I guess, help them realize that this opportunity and this space that they are in right now is a safe space, they slowly realize that they can share whatever they want to share about their photo essay or the social issues around them. So it takes time, of course, and sometimes our workshops are from like 10 to 15 days. Sometimes they share their second to last day, and which is quite a hindrance towards constructing a photo essay. But nonetheless, I guess it just takes time, and just try to reassure them that the space that they're in is a safe space, which again takes time, takes a more friendly methodology when engaging with the participants. We're trying to bridge, or basically we're trying to destroy that gap between the mentor and the student, that teacher-student gap, where as if we don't want to say that as if we have more knowledge than you. We really want to have them understand that my knowledge is also equal to whatever knowledge you have. What we have here is a collaboration rather than an indoctrination of what we have to you. So that's what we basically see our workshops there. It's a dialogue. It's very much based on like this idea of critical pedagogy, basically, which we basically want to instill. So yeah, again, it's hard, but it's doable. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ben, and Fem. We hope that answer your question.